Hello, everyone. Today, I'm going to talk to you, and I guess read to you too, about disabilities. Now, disability is something that makes people, maybe they're not able to do some things, like people who have to use a wheelchair to get around or have to use something else to get around. Maybe they're not able to see or hear as well, or anything like that. Sometimes people are able to do certain things, but they're only able to do some things a little, right? Like sometimes people use a wheelchair. They can walk, but they can't walk for very long, so they use a wheelchair. Sometimes they can't walk at all. Sometimes people can see light, but they can't like see well enough to read things, or they can't see well enough to know where they're going without just based on sight alone. They have to use something like a stick, or not a stick, a cane, or a special animal that'll help them figure out how to get around easier. So yeah, the first book I'm going to read you is called Different Abilities. What can you do? Everyone has special abilities. See, he here doesn't have feet, but he's able to move with these special things called prosthetics. The prosthetic is where you maybe don't have an arm or a leg or something, but you might have something like kind of like a metal or plastic arm or leg. Some people have them, some people don't. This is a little drawing of something that someone might have on their foot, or not on their foot, but around where their foot would be, if they did have a foot. All right. Meg reads with her fingers. How did she do that? How do you think? You know, typically I read with my eyes, but it looks like Meg reads with her fingers. Her book is in Braille. You know what Braille is? Braille kind of looks like this. It's usually some dots, some that feel kind of like open, some that feel kind of like more bumpy. And you can feel them out, right? Sometimes you'll see them on bathrooms below, and it might say like men or women, and then there'll be like some little dots. If you feel them and you're not able to see, people can read them. Right? I can't do that, but some people can do that. And that helps them read things. Tony plays the violin. He practices every day. Someday he may be famous. My little sister plays the violin. She did at least in years. Do you play any instruments? Maybe you play piano? Maybe you just sing? I can sing a little. No. Allie is the fastest girl at school. Wheels spin faster than legs run. Want to race? She does look really fast. She looks like she's wanting to race. I think I'd lose. Would you race her? Yeah? It's okay to lose. Luke can talk without speaking. How? What do you think? He uses his hands. when he talks to Sam, no one can hear them. See, that's called the hand talk, or sometimes it's called, or more often it's called sign language, right? So different symbols with your hands can mean different things. I tried to do pictures like this. My pictures aren't the best, but like this can mean, let me think. That's something like, it could be like A or B. Anyways, different things, different hand symbols can mean different things. And people who sign are able to talk without saying things out loud. Sometimes it's because they can't speak, so they have to sign. Other times they can't hear, so they like have to sign, but all sorts of things. It's a really hard language to learn, but some people have learned it really well. Cam is good with animals. He loves his dog Fig. You have a dog? Maybe a cat? Fig is a service dog. He keeps him safe. So, as we talked about a little bit earlier, sometimes people with certain disabilities, like maybe they can't see or they have something with their heart, they use a service animal, usually a service dog, to help tell them where to go and help keep them safe. Not tell them where to go, but help them get from place to place and be safe while doing it. Toad is great at checkers. He beats all his friends. He beats his mom too. I'm not very good at checkers. You play checkers? You're very good at them? I don't think I could beat them. I'm not that good at checkers. I'm not very good at chess either, which is a similar game. What can you do? What are they playing? It's like they're playing basketball. They're in wheelchairs. Yeah. If you've seen anyone play basketball in wheelchairs, it's really exciting to watch and it looks really difficult. Yeah. Okay. The next book we're going to read is called It's Okay to Ask. Can your chair go fast? Yes, my wheelchair goes pretty fast. It even helps me do ballet. Ballet? Not dance. I can't do ballet. You know, that's the one where they're like, I am Maya and I am graceful. Oh, she is pretty good at ballet. The picture at least. Yeah. She's able to do that. No. You know. Can we play games on your tablet? My tablet has some games, but mostly it helps me talk and laugh and tell jokes. So he has a tablet because he can't speak with his mouth, so he speaks on a machine. You have a tablet? I am Ahmed and I am fun. He's telling a joke here. It says, why was 6 afraid of 7? Because 7, 8, 9. Like 7, 8, 9, like it's eating it. But also 7, 8, 9. That's the numbers. Yeah. I think it's pretty good. Why are those on your legs? Oh, these braces help me walk. I can even run fast with them. I am Tryon, and I am adventurous. Yeah, look, it looks pretty fun. Are you swinging a tire like that? I think there's one at the playground at the school. So maybe when you grow up, at least, you'll be able to swing on a tire like that. Yeah. What is that? This is a walker. I use it to get around, like to my favorite place, the library. Ah, what a coincidence. We're at the library right now. Yeah. Or at least I am. You might not be, but story time is at the library. And now when you're home too. I am Gabriella, and I am smart. Yeah. You like the library? Check out books. Yeah. What kind of bike is that? This is a special bike that helps me balance. Let's go for a ride. You ride a bike? I am Carter. I am friendly. He does look pretty friendly. But they're both wearing their helmets so they don't get hurt. Now we have some questions for you. Do you like nuts? Do you like ice cream? I don't like nuts. I like ice cream. How about you? Would you rather read books or play outside? It's pretty cold today. For me, it just snowed, so I'd rather read books. Do you like dogs? Woof. Maybe cats. I like dogs a little more. I'm allergic to cats. Here's the best question of all. Do you want to be friends? All right, so I think I have two more. I have another vocabulary that I didn't do. So, and someone who is deaf either can't hear or maybe they can only hear very little, so they might be using hearing aids. Hearing aids kind of looks like a headphone or an earbud sometimes, or it can look like differently, and it helps people who can't hear very well to hear. Some people use them. Some people are able to read lips, so they can tell what words you're saying without hearing them. And then some people use sign language, and as we saw, some people use like writing things out. So this is someone who can't hear. That means that they are deaf. Right? So this person here is talking in his hand, and this person is blind, meaning that they either can't see or they can see very little. And sometimes use a stick to help tell them where to go, or help tell them what's in front of them, or they might use a dog to help them with things that they can't see. They might use all sorts of things. Sometimes they wear dark glasses, sometimes they don't. Depends on the person. All right, well, I'm going to learn a little bit about people who are deaf. I think maybe we'll do another book, but I'll get right back to you guys after we have a guest reader or two. Bye.
The People on the Corner, written and illustrated by Leslie Orr. For unique kids everywhere. Before the family on the corner arrived, We wondered who they might be. Was a family moving in? Would they be fun? We could hardly wait to see. Then one day, we got our chance to try and find out more when Kyle spotted a moving van from his house next door. He quickly called us with the news, and we rushed over to see. Us being Heather and Christopher, Natalie, and me.
Great, they have kids, Christopher said. See, there's a bike, some stilts, and an old wooden sled.
Look, whispered Natalie, wheelchairs. So there must be old people too. Maybe their grandparents. I bet that's who.
I hope they're not mean, Heather whined. Crabby old neighbors are the worst kind.
Don't worry, said Kyle calmly. I know what to do. The minute they drive up, I'll call each of you. We'll bake cookies at my house to say we're glad you're here. Then, if they look happy, we'll have nothing to fear. If they're mean, Heather, we'll never go back. But until we learn more, let's watch the movers unpack.
The next day, Kyle called.
I think they're here, he said. I spied signs of life when I got out of bed. Come to my house as fast as you can. We must bake our cookies and go ahead with our plan.
With hot cookies packed in a box that Natalie had painted, we headed over to meet the strangers, excited to get acquainted. They must have seen us coming, as far as we could tell, because the front door swung open before we rang the bell. A boy appeared in the doorway, wearing bright red socks. We all smiled and offered him our cookie box. Then everyone, all at once, started to exclaim, "Hello, hi, nice to meet you. What's your name?" The boy smiled, then frowned, then turned and disappeared. We didn't know what we'd done to make him act so weird.
Ugh, how rude, snapped Heather in a huff. Didn't he think we were friendly enough?
Suddenly, a tall lady came out and said,
My, what a nice big crew. I'm Mrs. Long, and who are all of you?
We came to meet your family, Kyle replied, but when we said hello, your son ran inside.
I'm sorry, said Mrs. Long. Richard told me he got a little shy. I'm sure you'll understand why when I I'm sure you'll understand when I tell you why. My son is deaf and he just wasn't prepared. You see, when you all spoke at the same time, he got a little scared. He can read lips, but not so many. Sign language is what he prefers if you happen to know any. Richard has brothers and sisters inside for you to meet. I'm sure they'll find your welcome a very special treat.
Richard had brothers and sisters, all right, the most I'd ever seen. I counted 5 boys and 7 girls, plus their parents, made 14. Heather opened the cookie box for all of us to share. Then Mrs. Long introduced us to everybody there. First, we met Slade, who talked very quietly and low, and 3 kids who used wheelchairs, Maria, Matt, and Mary Jo. Then we met Amy, with thick glasses, who made us giggle when she spoke. She also liked repeating the same old knock-knock joke. Then we met Carolyn, who wore a hearing aid in each ear. When her baby sister Taylor cried, she took them out so she wouldn't have to hear. Then 2 kids who were blind, whose names were Tong and Dale, showed us how to write our names in bumpy dots of Braille. Next, we met the dog, a lazy mutt named Spike, and their cat with 3 legs who went by the name of Trike. We met Richard again, and this time he said, "Hi." He also showed us his book of sign language so we could give it a try. Finally, we met the last 2 Longs, Owen and Maxine. They seemed more like us, just plain old kids, I mean. As we left, Mr. and Mrs. Long invited us to their get acquainted tea.
Bring your families to the party, they said, tomorrow at 3.
The Longs did have a tea party, just as they said they would, and there in front of their house must have been the entire neighborhood. All of us kids acted very polite, except for Cornelius Kimes, who stood on the porch and rang the doorbell at least 200 times, and his sister Courtney, who was always being yelled at, fed cookies to the Longs' dog and cupcakes to their cats. Since the Longs were busy for serving treats, we didn't play any games. All we did was smile at them and try to remember their names. One week later, during a secret club meeting in our fort, Christopher wondered if the Long kids were going to be our sort.
Well, I've been thinking about it, he said with a sigh. Every game has rules that you have to play by. Like playing baseball won't be very fun because kids in wheelchairs can't run a fast home run. How will the kids who are blind be able to find their places? And how will anyone who thinks slowly know when to steal bases? The kids who are deaf won't hear the umpire shout, and will get in trouble if we leave anyone out.
But we can't stop playing baseball, Kyle cried. It's the game I like best. Maybe we can say that to be in our game, you have to pass a test.
It would be easier, said Heather, to just ask some of them to play with us. We should choose who we want to be with, and then there won't be any fuss.
Natalie asked, "How are we going to know who to pick and who to ignore, especially since we never played with any of them before?"
We could spy on them first, said Kyle. Come on, follow me. Let's sneak into my yard and use my favorite tree.
From Kyle's tree, we had a bird's eye view of all the Long kids playing. We could see their every move and even hear what they were saying.
I think they're building some kind of fort, said Heather. Each kid has a job and they're building it together.
Yeah, said Christopher, a much better fort than ours. Theirs has an elevator on a rope and 2 lookout towers.
Suddenly, Mr. Long caught us sitting on the limb. We froze and tried to act like we didn't notice him.
"How do you like our fort?" he asked us spies.
Fine, sir, said Kyle shyly. We've never seen one quite this size.
"I'm sure it could fit 5 more kids," Mr. Long shouted with a smile. "Why don't you come on down and try it out for a while? And later on join us at the park for our family baseball game. That is, if you don't mind that some of our rules aren't quite the same."
Kyle got so excited he almost knocked us out of the tree.
We'll be there, he shouted back. That I'll guarantee.
What a game we played that night. The Long's rules were very different, but nobody got in a fight. Everybody got to play, and everybody found their own way. For instance, if someone wasn't sure of when or where to go, they asked a teammate to assist them so they wouldn't be too slow. The kids who were deaf used sign language to get the umpire's calls, while the kids who were blind got voice commands and batted at beeping balls. The kids who used wheelchairs rounded the bases as well as any runner there, and even though Kyle struck out twice, he didn't really care. Afterwards, we had ice cream and cake at the Longs and gathered around the piano to sing some old folk songs. I asked Mrs. Long if some of her kids ever felt they were being left out. She told me,
We teach our kids to make their own fun and to never sit and pout.
Then Natalie leaned over and whispered in my ear,
Yeah, they sure showed us that we have nothing to fear.
She was right. We were silly to sit and worry in our fort. But now we know better, I'm happy to report. You see, the Longs never wondered what we were able to do. They invited us to join them, and you can try that too. So when you meet new people like the Longs on your block, at first you might be in for quite a shock. But don't worry, good neighbors never make you feel like you've intruded. Whether it's block parades, or neighborhood plays, everyone's included.
All right, everyone, I'm back. So I'm gonna go over this again. We're not going to go over this again. What am I saying? I'm saying that right now we're going to be doing a couple activities. So give me one second. I just dropped the paper, and I'll get right back to you. Oh. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to draw something. Okay. So I want you to get a piece of paper and maybe some crayons or markers, colored pencils. Probably don't do paint. Paint's very difficult. I don't know. I'm not a very good painter, maybe. But so what we're going to think about is somewhere in our life where there's something that's not made easy for people with a disability, right? So someone who needs to use a wheelchair to get around cannot go upstairs by themselves, right? Because you have to climb over each individual stair. And they can't really do that on a wheelchair. So what we might do is we might draw a picture of a ramp, so they can more easily get up. Or you might think about something that we have written down somewhere and think, well, if you're blind, you wouldn't be able to read that. If it's written using just letters on like a page. So we might design it to be in Braille. So I want you to think about a place in your life where you could do something that would make it easier for people with disabilities. Yeah, I'm going to draw a picture of me in this video. Here we go. So here's a picture of me in this video, right? And like on your screen, And what I'm going to do, I'm going to write thing I could do would be to put subtitles at the bottom. So maybe if you can't hear, you can read and you can see, oh, I'm saying, hi, I'm Ethan. Yeah, so you want to design something like that. All right, the other thing we're going to, all right, so what we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of sign language. So a way to say hello would be to do goodbye would be, let's see if we can do, yes, can you do this? Yeah, right, and then no would be like that. You do that? Please, can you please? Yeah. And thank you. Yeah. Another way to do no is that. Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's it for this week. We'll see you next week. A certain holiday might be happening. I'll see you then.